my indigenous aboriginal family. Oh, it's beautiful out in the day. Most high got it looking real nice, even though we got all these chemtrails in our way. Look at that. Ah, beautiful, huh? Even though it may be beautiful and be some old government garbage going on. Uh, yeah. Anyway, this is your brother Jay Coleman tapping back in with y'all on another ride on the truth. Um, it's time, and it has been time, and it's going on now. We are resurrecting. What I mean by resurrecting as the indigenous resurrection is that we're resurrecting our mind state. We realigning our mind state and our spirits to the ancestral energy sources that we have been cut off to by claiming Africans. And there's not even to say that no one is not from Africa. But I will say, as we always do, the majority of us are not. And it appears that since I have dropped my Pan African and African American moniker and start focusing more on my ancestral background, along with the paper trail that I have been accumulating on my family for the past 8 months, and it's just phenomenal. And I know many of y'all is like very touched about that. What you guys are finding, keep doing your research study, keep sharing with us. We got to do the same thing we did sharing the information as we shared the African information. We have to resurrect that mentality and that drive the same way we had that mentality when we was calling ourselves Africans and so on and so forth, or African Americans. The resurrection is here since we have been downtrodden and has been miseducated and told so many lies, so on and so forth in America. It's a shocker to many of y'all. Many of you brothers are so mad that you can't make money that the Pan African movement or the pro black thing is dying. It was a death. It was dying when we resurrected it. And many reasons why I left it is because it wasn't no resurrection for me, really. It basically was another study of something that I can't go touch or something I can't go socialize with on a non-biased family related level. I'm a lot of Africans, all of them, but they're not. They don't want to socialize with us because they feel some kind of way about how we are here in America of us in these movies and news and so on and so forth. So they come over here with this thing, they head all in the skyline as if they is messing with some kind of peasant or serf or something. But that's another story. But the truth of it's good for a lot of you brothers and sisters resurrecting. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to all the indigenous tribes in America. And this is not to disinclude the Mongoloid tribes. Okay, we give acknowledge to the Mongoloid tribes. But the Mongoloid tribes know that they got a lot of hidden things they need to fix too. Because right now, a lot of us is coming for our shit. We coming. And the Pan African movement and all the other stuff that's been put in our way, and a lot of us are starting to walk past that now. And a lot of brothers is getting scared. A lot of brothers want to try to prove things that they don't need to be trying to prove. Oh, you got one drop of African blood in you. That's what they hold. See, I told you you had one drop of African blood, but what about the information? What about the information? I have to bring this up. I usually normally don't do it, but because I'm not one to try to ride off people's names, because I see how people ride off Dan Calloway name. The only reason why I put Dan Calloway as the truth is because it's the truth. Because I've been dealing with it and I've been following him for a long time. But when I finally come up with the agreement, it resurrects me into an understanding that, hey, this is new homework that I haven't been done. I already done all the homework. I'm keep regurgitating the same thing being a Pan-African. Oh, I got to go know about Kemet. Oh, I know about certain areas they want to pick out that's good about Africa, but they don't want to talk about all the rest of that Africa. And this is not to discredit Africa. But what it is that most of us, we're not Africans. I can't find it. Let alone a lot of people got to understand how the hell we Africans when the word Africa is only like 500 and some years old. Probably just 5 years old. It ain't even old as our people that's been indigenous here. So how was they calling us Africans? Oh, some brother gonna say, oh, they was calling you more instead of that and so on and so forth. And bam, when that's only a French word that represents black or mean black. you know, or it's really just more a form of a confusion. You know, that's because y'all, the so-called Moors, and took a seat right next with the cracker when he came over here of taking over America and creating all these fucked up laws that's keeping the indigenous aboriginals in these concrete jungles called ghettos and prisons and stuff, and reclassifying our name and making us a whole nother people when it ain't that type of people don't even exist. You know, the $5 Indians know what's going on, and everybody's coming along with that. And along another thing, a lot of you brothers want to continue to say fight and try to get on the brother Dane Calloway. Ghana got open doors for you. Ghana waiting for you. Go over there to Ghana and go help out Africa. Nobody don't want to keep learning something that they cannot touch, relate to, or whatever. Okay, a lot of people grab anything if they don't got nothing in their way. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was a youngster. That's why I went through so many stages of evolution, mentally, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So I can get to that point where my soul say, "This is where you're supposed to be. This is it. This is it." You actually have proof to be able to show your geology through your family trees. I can't do that watching roots. I can't do that talking about I'm from Africa. I can't do that when I can't prove that my ancestors in no fashion, no matter how hard I try, came off a slave ship. I can't help it that's not true. A lot of you brothers want us to keep fighting this facade of Pan-Africanism or Afrocentric history as if we was really over there doing that. When we were the superhumans over here too. Okay, we got a lot of places out here in South and North America, all through the Americas. They got pyramids and empires that's older than Egypt. 'Cause that's where everybody keep trying to point at when it comes to Africa. Oh, Egypt. And if they don't say, I don't need Egypt, they're gonna say Nubia, or they're gonna say Ethiopia, so on and so forth. Because we don't care about that. I think all the brothers and sisters that's here that's got like minds that understand this understanding without no biases, that's out here putting in this work, no matter how big your views, small your views, we all on the same page and we following this diaspora. And a lot of brothers is getting very, very pissed off at it due to the fact that we're raining on their parade. This social media with the information that been hidden from us, and a lot of us doing great work. And I applaud y'all, and I applaud y'all all. You know, and this resurrection that we're having right now is more of a frightening resurrection for a lot of the others who want to basically go against it. You notice that a lot of people that do agree with it always got some small parts of it they agree with it, but then they still want to keep trying to push their ideology in there, or they master teachers mentality in there, because that was what I did. I always pushed the master teachers information into the information. When I identified that, okay, I know that blacks is here already, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? I always pointed out small bits, but I always put that African on everything to try to certify Africa as the motherland, or Africa as the place of civilization, where civilization came from. When a lot of this reality is not even true. Okay, it is not true. All you Pan-Africanists, even though I use the word Pan because I know what the word Pan use, and I call myself a Pan-Aborigine, because everything gonna be Aboriginal, indigenous centered. Okay, so now that I got more knowledge about the Carolinas and my folks, and I'm working more on my grandma's side here in New York, you know, so it's a lot more that we can find being here. You can't find nothing in Africa but statues and stories. Okay. Yes, you may have a similar face or similar lips or whatever, but the whole planet was melanated. And that don't mean the whole planet was Africa. Y'all just looking at a color trying to use this, because see, that's a form of skin color. I'm not saying that it don't matter, but it do, because the $5 Indians is perpetrating. You're on our land. Our people is resurrected to the knowledge of that. A lot of you brothers and sisters need to go check out abandoned land lots of those times, abandoned businesses, homes. You know, you'll find out. I've been looking at stuff, but you know, I haven't found the things that I've been looking for. But I found a few things where ancestors, my ancestors was owning the lands and stuff, and all of a sudden they didn't have no lands after this little 12-year gap. It was like, damn, we didn't have no land, and we were scattered all in different places and so on and so on. I'm looking at all. I mean, I swear to you, brothers and sisters, that what Dane Calloway, as well as a lot of the brothers who've been doing it with him or prior before him, you know what I'm saying, it's phenomenal, and it's kind of like sad, and at the same time enjoying to know that your family members from all these generations, older than 400 years, go back will find them. Before the word, they was already here on land, living in houses and having their own gardens and so on and so forth. We come from a warrior, a farmer tribe. You know, I'm not gonna get in general about that, but at the same time, it's our agenda. It's our agenda. It ain't the Pan-African agenda. It ain't the Jews' agenda. It ain't the Moors' agenda. This is our agenda. The Moors is killing me with this, trying to say Aboriginal Moor. No, fuck the word Moor. Okay, all that they're trying to put on us all links to motherfuckers that crossed each other. Everyone crossed each other. Niggas stabbing each other in the back. Niggas doing shit for the cracks. Niggas helping them kill each other. All this type of shit. Go do the history. Go do the research. And I ain't talking about Google, because you got to go get them old books in them old libraries. That's where I got all my books from. I went to the library, and then I was just buying old books off of, you know what I'm saying? That's where you get these things from. Go to those vital statistic records. I'm trying my best not to use the dolls rolls, because once you find your family tree without using the dolls rolls, that's officially makes you official regardless. Because from what the brothers telling me at the reservations out here, some of the brothers out here, they saying, you know, you don't want to. We're not holding DNA as a forefront of who you are. You have to go through the records to prove who you are. Well, I'm not in there. I'm in Nevada right now, so I've been doing a lot of backdoor history on the Nevada history. I'll be sharing that that's here. But the indigenous people, a lot of the brothers that's been indigenous, and there's been a lot of my indigenous brothers, Indian black Indians that I be meeting that come through my places, a place of employments and businesses. They tell me that, you know what I'm saying, it's beautiful to see people starting to wake up, because now it allowed the ancestors that's older, that was keeping certain things to themselves, to start to come out, because now they're saying that these children, they ancestors, young ancestors today, such as ourselves and so on and so forth, are waking up. And now they can come to us and drop these jewels on us without us having some form of bias mentality against it. I wouldn't want to give nobody no Jews when he gonna Afrocentricarize the information when Africa don't got nothing to do with it. That's part of the reason. This is what one brother told me. I'm his name. He said, look, brother, half of the reason why a lot of us don't speak to some of the brothers that are dealing with it, because I believe that they from Africa. So when we speak to them and bring me and drop these Jews on them, all they're gonna do is take this story, which what happened. He said that a lot of the stories were orally uh, uh, sent down through the generations, right? But at the same time, a lot of the brothers, due to the fact that the Europeans incorporating the African slave trade in there, they started adding African in there after so many years, probably like 500 years ago. They started adding African, because we was considered Indians, or we was considered Aboriginals, Indigenous, we was considered Indigenous, Aboriginals, or mulatto, because the mulattoes used as a term to say you black and white, or you half breed. Mulattoes was another term of saying who we are. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't really say we totally from the African diaspora, but we have similarities, but you can distinguish us differently. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll know who is who and who ain't, you know, because this resurrection that's going on right now, this resurrection is really another call for the chosen people to rise. People say, "Oh, he said chosen people," and I don't mean that in no religious fashion. Even though they may have religious texts that can give some kind of clarification to this, don't really give you a reason to just totally go off of it, because it has been distorted and misplaced, and the cracker done changed up everything. So we have to come with everything new. I mean, even when it comes to us coming and dealing with our tribe, you say, "Oh, I'm using my tribe." How you know that's a tribe? If I say I'm Cherokee, that don't really mean that was the original name of what the Cherokees is called. You may have 2 or 3 names that they were called prior to that. Okay, so it shouldn't be no problem for us to change. Okay, the change to adapt to this modern way, because too many brothers ain't gonna be wanting to jump around with no feathers around no fires, brothers and sisters. I mean, for those that's deep into the culture like that, so be it. But you have to open the door for everyone. Like, hey, I'm gonna recognize that, but I ain't gonna participate. I just sit on the side, and chill on the powwow with the ancestors on the side. You know what I'm saying? So we have to, like I said before in my other channel, we have to modernize everything. We have to rewrite our history into modern time. So if you have your history book, like I'm taking down notes for everything that I'm getting from my ancestors. I'm making my own new notebook, history book. I couldn't do that with Africa. I couldn't do that with the Pan-African movement. I couldn't say, all right, my grandmother, great grandmother came here, or my father came here on such and such boat in Virginia. I can't say that, because when I look at the documents, I don't see no boats interfering with the family tree as they grow. See, that's another thing, brother, got to see. Why there ain't no gap through your family trees? That's another thing. Now, if you just bumped on the scene, not saying that some brothers and sisters, but very few can say they found their family in Africa. I'm yet to see that one. And I'm talking about visual proof. They telling us you gotta prove you from there. How the fuck you gonna tell me to prove I'm from America when you can't even prove to me you from Africa? Prove that. Prove you from Africa. Bring all you Afrocentric brothers. I was told this too when I was captain in my Afrocentric shit. Prove that I'm an African. Prove you African, man. Prove you African. What part of Africa you from? I don't know what part I'm from, brother, but I know we've been stolen slaves. Yeah, but we don't know too much. They don't know much about that slave trade shit. A lot of them don't. They interrupted their educational system too. We need to tell Africans what the hell happened if they really just yelling off white men now. They don't know nothing. That's because they from over there in Africa don't mean they know shit. They just over there. We over here knowing more what's going on in they shit politically, spiritually, economically, and everything here. You get what I'm saying? So, the resurrection that's going on over here is going to resurrect the rest of the brothers and sisters to regulate. All the brothers and sisters, the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native, Niger, the land brothers and sisters, all in the Caribbean, everywhere. Those that's with like minds, those that have the souls that want to open up to the real truth rather than keep pushing this facade of fake Afrocentric history. It's resurrecting. And guess what? When something new resurrect, something old that been a lie gotta die. That lie has existed so long, they have teetered out their power. And the truth is starting to become what it's supposed to be. And it don't care who it hurt. It don't care who get mad. That's why you have that. I don't give a fuck what no fucker say. You ain't gonna try to tell me I'm right. I know now. I know now. A lot of brothers really confident, like, I know now. I can say that now. I know now. It's deep. The resurrection is here. Indigenous people will resurrect. The only problem that I see that we're going to have with this indigenous resurrection, as we having problems with the $5 Indians, the Pale Indians. We having problems with the white Mexicans. We having problems with all other nationality races that want to continue to claim the fake facade that the European and incorporated in their culture and distorted and got them thinking they're Spanish and all this shit, Puerto Ricans and all this type of shit. It's a lot more to it. Y'all need to do more research on that. And I ain't talking about Google. I'm talking about go to y'all old libraries and just go find different books that relate to anything. And the white folks that wrote a lot of truth in their books, okay, to themselves, to their own. See, when you go look at books that white folks put out nationally and big, it's some kind of biasness to it where you really can't see the full truth because they always distorting it. When they get to a point when they're supposed to say when the black or when the copper color, they're going to use some kind of other title or subtitle or moniker to describe you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, because seeing a people that you never seen, white folks always called us ugly, but then wind up trying to be just like us. The resurrection is here. You can see the changing of the earth, how things is happening here in America, and it's time for this white man's fall. His lies is kicking him in his ass. His racism is biting him back in his ass. They can't even keep it together. They're going around shooting up schools, doing all type of crazy stuff because they know they're losing this fight. And there's some brothers out here, you got some little brothers I see on pages, oh, well, shit, all that, what they're going to do for us, what they're going to do for us. It's going to do a lot for us, especially when we got treaties and all type of stuff that been taken for us that's still hidden. Okay, it's the same when brothers start getting this Afrocentric shit. When we start getting that, Nation Islam was started it with me when I was in the Nation Islam, young buck, 20 some years old in the nation. A lot, yeah, brother, you come from Mac, you come from kings, queens, and whoop de whoop whoop. What? Every nigga gonna want to hear that? What? I'm a king? Oh my god! Oh hell yeah! It's real deep. It's real deep. But the resurrection is simple. This resurrection is simple. Brothers say, well, all these brothers running around here talking about they from Africa, disrespecting Africa. No, motherfucker, you disrespecting America, and you're on the soil at the same time. You on the soil at the same time, running around here talking about you from Africa, but won't go back. You here on another motherfucker turf talking about, motherfucker, you ain't from this hood. Motherfucker, I don't even know you. No, you from my hood. I'm telling you, stupid. You grew up here. He told you lie. You really from my hood. How the hell prove it to me I'm from your hood? Meaning other continent. Prove it to me. Give me some paperwork. Give me some paper geology to show me that I got an auntie living in a hut in Africa somewhere. Or I don't give a fuck anywhere. Because that was many things, many problems that I couldn't prove. The resurrection is more of a nightmare for a lot of people who still want to push the facade of colonialism falsehood that's been put on us, that's been told to beat it on us. Even made laws that make some of the brothers and sisters back in those late 1800s, early 1900s, did not even say who they are, so they had to accept this moniker of Negro or colored or whatever, mulattoes or whatever names that the Europeans give you. They had to bow down to that. And a lot of these tribes that they keep talking about coming up in the news, these are the sold out tribes. The tribes that got more white Indians than they tribes than anything. And they do not want the indigenous, which is us, to wake up. We're here. We're resurrecting. Okay? The resurrection is this. The resurrection is resurrecting into the new mind state of your true self and your true origin and your true people and your true country and your true way of life. I'm studying the way of lives of what they're doing. I don't think we will ever be able to fully be able to grasp hold of the original way of life that our people live. The only ones we have are the small remnants that we see the $5 Indians playing in. And some of the brothers say some of the tribes didn't do that. They said a lot of the tribes didn't wear stuff and have bonfires. It was different type of tribes. We lived it according to our environment. We named ourselves according to our environments. You understand? So that's how a lot of the tribes was different, and they all lived amongst each other different, but they all had the same Katic spiritual system intertwined in all their different walks. They all believed it the same way in so many ways in one before this colonizer or these pilgrims come over here. So y'all have to go do those. A lot of you brothers don't want to go do the research because y'all don't want to be seen as wrong. When I was Pan-African for fucking 10 years, I really, for the first few years, when I first started hearing Dan Calloway, I thought he was a fool. See, a lot of y'all don't want to say that. I was like, man, this fucking coon ass nigga. Oh, this nigga ain't shit. Dan Calloway, this weird dude. This dude ain't nothing. This dude ain't that. But shit, that was me personally trying to make the Pan-African mind state look at him and hate him because he's saying some information that I'm not saying. It automatically make you hate a person or make you come at people because they're not relating to what you already think you know, when you only know just the tip of the iceberg, when there's a whole nother history, diaspora history of black people. I'm using that moniker as example because y'all can relate to that here in America. Y'all don't want to talk about American history. When y'all talk about American history, y'all want to do the same thing white folks do. Y'all want to walk over the truth of it so y'all can put Africa somewhere. You get what I'm saying? But the resurrection is here, and a lot of you brothers and sisters can't stop it. Because when this resurrection, when it's really into that swing that has come, it's done. Pan-Africanism and pro-African stuff is out of here. For those that can prove that they from there, peace to you. But today, now, it's time for us to rise as we are and allow this resurrection to take place as it naturally going to do. And a lot of y'all that want to hold on to the bullshit will continue to suffer. Peace and blessings. You tuned in to your brother Jay Coleman for the Pan-Aboriginals of America. And I'm doing my own thing. Please subscribe at the bottom of the line, and I'm gonna keep giving it to y'all like a regular conversation. Peace and blessings.